Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Langer at the Mic Live, this Habs post-game show here. Unfortunately, this is the first time this season where I've had to sleep on a post-game show and then stream in the morning, but here we are. We're still going to make this work. We're in our studio here in Montreal instead of Toronto, which is why I'm on my laptop. I do have my webcam and microphone and interface, but I don't have my desktop computer, which is much better doing streaming than my laptop. But anyway, we're still going to make this happen, and we're still going to talk about this awesome 5-1 dominant victory by the Montreal Canadiens over the Vancouver Canucks. Canadiens, honestly, they played pretty similarly like they did on Monday, but this time they scored 5 goals instead of 1 goal, and of course it was capped off by Philip Danault scoring for the first time in over a year. We'll get to that in a little bit. We're just going to rapid fire talk about all the awesome things the Montreal Canadiens did in that game last night, and also kind of look ahead to the game tonight against the Calgary Flames a little bit. But yeah, let's get it going. You know, right in the first period, it looked like Thatcher Demko was going to pull a Marty Brodeur on the Montreal Canadiens because the Canadiens were just out shooting the Canucks like crazy in the first. I think it was like 15-6, or I forget exactly what it was. And to Demko's credit, he played really, really well. He stood tall, and he's the reason it was only 1-0 after 1 and not 4-0 already. But, you know, and then here's something in particular. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, right, who was on a new line with Tomas, Tatar, and Tyler Toffoli, had a grade A scoring chance, I want to say halfway through the period, where he had all the time and space to walk into the slot, but he didn't seem like he really wanted to shoot. He looked like he was trying to do everything else but shoot the puck on net. He finally did shoot the puck on net, but he was not, again, it could have had a much better chance to beat Demko if he just took one step in the slot and just let it go right away, but he took too long to take a shot. But then also, he did take the hit from behind penalty, which was dumb. Thankfully, it wasn't worse than it was. But he also then scored a beautiful goal off a really nice finish off a one-timer, his third goal of the season, which was set up by fantastic work by Tyler Toffoli and Brandon Gallgher, his new line mates down low. I forget who the Canucks D-man was, but they converged on the forecheck. Gallgher and Toffoli did. They essentially trapped that Canucks defenseman, that lone Canucks defenseman down low. Very aggressive forecheck, which we've been seeing the Habs doing really well under Dominique Duchamp. So they trapped him behind the net, forced the turnover. Toffoli dangled his way through back in front, passed it to Kotkaniemi, who, to his credit, made the right decision to just let it rip off a one-timer, and he got his third goal of the season. And man, Kotkaniemi has been phenomenal under Dominique Duchamp. And I think he's almost a point per game player. I think it's 6 and 7 games under Duchamp, or 5 and 6 games, whatever the stats are. But he's been almost a point per game player under Dominique Duchamp. And like, it's just so encouraging to see how well he's been playing. And Kotkaniemi also, the power play, his wave of the power play did not score tonight, but once again, they were dangerous, man. Like, they were threatening, because I feel like what they do so well, like I've said in a previous episode of our previous post-game show, is that what they do well is they make the simple plays to set up. So they're patient in terms of setting up. They're between Gallgher and Cory Perry, very good in the corners, really good at puck retrieval, either to get set up or to keep pressure going after a rebound. Very good at sustaining pressure down low. And then Kotkaniemi is excellent as a half wall guy on that left side to just kind of slow things down, take what's given to him, and just move the puck really, really well. And then yeah, like between Alexander Burrows, but also Jesperi Kotkaniemi, they've been the main reasons why the Habs have been so much better on the power play. But then again, the other wave is the wave that scored tonight, which we'll get to in a little bit. But also want to, got to give Kotkaniemi a lot of credit for setting up Jeff Petry on that fourth goal in the third period. It was a great cross seam pass. But now I want to talk about Cory Perry in that same breath, because Cory Perry, man, I just keep saying on every post-game show, I'm glad that he has not been taken out of the lineup, because he's my favorite bottom six or favorite role player on the Montreal Canadiens right now, because I keep saying how he just has something. He's the only forward on the Canadiens that has a Hart Trophy in his career, that has a 50-goal season and a 80 or 90 whatever 100 point whatever season in his career. Sure, he's 36 years old and he might not have the wheels that the skating he once had, but you know what, he still has the hands, he still has the smarts, the savvy. He knows whether to go for a shot or a deke or a pass or whatever, and to win battles down low, to screen the goaltender. He is just perfect in the role that he's playing. And like that was just a beautiful finish on that 2-on-1, taking that pass from Paul Byron, freezing Thatcher Demko, and then before finishing it on his backhand. So just that was a great, and like I've been saying, just his work between him and Gallagher and Kotkaniemi are the reason why that wave of the power play is so strong. But then, you know what? As much as I've been criticizing that other wave of Drouin, Suzuki, Anderson, or Toffoli, and Weber, and I forget who else is on. I think I got everyone. Yeah, so they finally scored because Shea Weber's shot finally worked. And honestly, I was thinking like throughout the game, because man, like Weber, his shot was not much of a threat at 5-on-5 or on the power play, because it was either missing the net or getting blocked. I remember it blocked. It broke a Vancouver defender's stick, and just it wasn't really working again. But you know what? Give Shea Weber credit, because his shot, like when he scored that goal off a one-timer, high to Demko's glove side off the far side, when he scored that goal, man, I saw him teeing up that shot. I'm like, no, Weber, don't shoot. Yeah, he scored, you know? So anyway, just really nice to see his shot, his one-timer shot finally work. I think it's like the third or fourth time this season that the third goal he scores this year off his slap shot on the power play. I think the one he scored against Ottawa was at 5-on-5, but either way, that wave of the power play has been really a struggle in terms of getting set up. But in this instance, they finally did get set up. They found the right opportunity to get Weber set up for a one-timer, and they cashed in on it. Great shot by Shea Weber. Just has to happen a little more often than once every 5-6 games, or his slap shot is a threat like that. But anyway, now I want to talk about Jeff Norris Petry, because Jeff Norris Petry scored another goal yesterday, and he's almost a point per game player as a defenseman. And if he's not the number one candidate for the Norris Trophy this year, I'll just say, look, he's definitely in that top. He's definitely in that top 5, and it's hard to make the case against him being the best defenseman in this Canadian division. The only issue I see with Petry is that sometimes he's a little bit careless with the puck in terms of turning it over, but what he also does do really well is that he limits his mistakes after he turns it over. So in other times, I think there's maybe 2 goals I could think of. The one in Toronto or against the Leafs in particular was one where Petry turned it over and it led to a goal. But for the most part, when Petry turns it over, at least it doesn't really lead to a goal. But he does such a great job just playing at both ends of the ice, leading the rush, getting back, settling things down the power play, walking the blue line, maneuvering, stick handling along the blue line, and not going offside. Like, man, Jeff Petry, and that goal high glove side on Demko was just like another phenomenal wrist shot, which is more of a weapon. I hate this. The Habs got goals from both Weber's slap shot and Petry's wrist shot last night. So very nice to see that. Habs, I think they still lead the league in goals by defensemen. So just great. Another great game by Jeff Norris Petry. But now let's talk about Carey Price. Carey Price, he now, like in that entire performance, it's easy to miss. It's easy to not talk about how well Carey Price played. He didn't have to be a hero, but he also made some really, really great saves. Or great saves. I don't want to say great saves. Let's call them key important saves. And he made difficult saves look really, really easy. Again, he fought really well. He tracked the puck really well through traffic. Read the play well. He again, numerous times he was screened and he stopped. I remember late in the second period in particular, there was a play where he was screened. He couldn't even see the shot, but because he was in good position, playing on top of the guy, like right behind the guy screening him, he was able to basically cover net and have the puck hit him. So that was a really nice, important save late in the second. But look, he's just like he alluded to last week. He's just keeping things simple. He's playing his positioning is really excellent as usual. But he's also, the biggest thing that he's improved with is tracking the puck. And just so you know, now that's 4 games. In his last 4 games, he has 4 goals in the last 4 goals allowed in the last 4 games, and a goals against average under 1 in those 4 games because of the shootout on Monday's game. But now his goals against average, which was above 3 at one point, and his save percentage, which was under 900 at one point, is now at 906 and 2.59. So hey, the Canadiens goaltending between Price and Allen, who will probably play tonight against the Flames, hey, is looking much better now, and it's great to see Carey Price finally figuring things out and turning things around because, look, hey, he's done it before, and I never doubted it, but a lot of people did, so great for Price to turn things around finally, and hope he keeps it up. Now, last but not least, or second to last but not least, we got to talk about the UFA line, the newly formed third line of Philip Danault, Yoel Armia, and Tomas Tatar. Once again, Dominique Ducharme, he put up he put Gallgher on the new line with Kotkaniemi and Toffoli, Anderson on the Drouin Suzuki line, to form a third line of Danault, Armia, and Tatar. So again, it's really a really nice looking at this lineup because now you have a clearly defined top six and a clearly defined bottom six. And this UFA line of Danault, Armia, and Tatar was a perfect third line in that game yesterday. They played really, really well, but they're just so good at sustaining their offense, sustaining pressure in the offensive zone. Like, the only issue that they really had, and also Danault, of course, he drew 2 penalties, one on Hughes, one on I think it was Michaelis in the third period. And Danault even had a breakaway where he shot it right at Thatcher Demko's chest. But you know what? Like, just like I said, they were so good at winning battles along the walls, retrieving pucks, sustaining pressure in the offensive zone. And you know what? I believe you can say that their ability to sustain pressure in the Canucks zone is what really wore down that defense last night, and what led to the Habs just finally breaking open, going from a 1-0 game to a 2-1 hockey game to, like, all of a sudden a 5-1 game because of how much they wore out that defense and how much they essentially fatigued Thatcher Demko with how much they sustained pressure in that offensive zone, that third line alone. I mean, all lines did, but that third line in particular. But then, of course, Philip Danault finally scored his first goal since February 29, 2020. By the way, Danault, he made a great play at the blue line to keep the puck in. The puck found its way to Yoel Armia in the slot, whose shot got blocked, and then the puck deflected and went into the corner, but no one knew where it was. And then no one knew where it was, but Yoel Edmondson jumped right in and retrieved it, threw the puck in front, and it found its way to the massive bodies in front onto Danault's stick, who just buried it. So so just really nice to see his first goal, Philip Danault's first goal since February 29, 2020 against the Carolina Hurricanes, a game that I was at. So right before the pandemic, of course. But yeah, just so nice to finally see Danault get his first goal of the season. And hey, I don't know if they'll come in bunches for him, but at least it's, as he alluded to in the press conference after the game, it was a huge monkey off of his back. So more good things, just a couple of other good things real quick that I really loved in this game. You got balanced scoring. All 4 lines scored once again. You had Perry's goal from the 4th line. You had Kotkaniemi's goal from that first or second line. You got the Weber goal, which was on the power play from Drouin, I think, Josh Anderson. So kind of the second line there. And of course, you got Danault's goal, which was a goal from the 3rd line. Also, the Habs drew penalties last night because a lot has been made of the Canadiens not being able to draw penalties. I think they're going into this game, they're 27th in terms of penalties drawn per game, or power plays per game. So they haven't been getting a lot of chances on the power play, and they've been scoring recently when they have, but they drew 5 penalties on the Vancouver Canucks. So that was nice to see for a change. And they also scored the power play goal, of course. Another thing is they attempted 75 plus shots. I forget what the final tally was, but with like 5 minutes left, it was at 74. So they attempted a whole lot of shots on net, a lot of dangerous chances. And last but not least, the Canadiens, or 2 more things here. The Canadiens, they weathered the Ben Sherratt injury. I mean, Ben Sherratt clocked JT Miller in the face, and it seemed to hurt JT Miller, but it ended up hurting Ben Sherratt more because it affected his hand or his wrist or whatever it was. So, hey, let's hope Ben Sherratt gets better. And there's been a lot made of the Sherratt-Weber pairing, but let's hope that Sherratt gets better, because I personally don't wish injury on anyone. But credit the Habs for surviving that injury and playing 5 defensemen for 2 periods on a road hockey game at 11 o'clock Eastern time. So you had Weber, Petry, it was Weber, Petry, Edmondson, and Romanov. They all played over 19 minutes in that game. And Brett Kulak, I think he was around 15. But whatever they did, it worked to weather that storm of Ben Sherratt going down. And of course, last but not least, the Montreal Canadiens, they kept the pedal to the metal, even when it was in the 3rd period, and even when they're up 4-1, 5-1, they just kept pouring it on the Canucks, kept firing pucks to the net, kept sustaining offensive zone time, and it was really, really great to see. It was a complete awesome performance by the Montreal Canadiens. The only goal they gave up was on the power play. Sure, were again great shot by Brock Besser off a one-timer. Can't really blame Price for that. That's a goal scorer's goal, whether that's Besser or Stamkos or Ovechkin or Weber, or just a great one-timer, great perfectly placed one-timer. And I think even Weber was screening Price a little bit on that goal, so you can't really blame him for that. But hey, the Habs have points in 6 straight games under Dominique Ducharme, even though it's been OT loss win, OT loss win, OT loss win. But hey, they're playing much better now, and you can see that the coaching change was the right decision to make, and that things are just coming together under Dominique Ducharme. And hey, they turn around, they play a game against the Flames at 9 o'clock tonight. Can't really talk, won't really get too much into it because I actually do have to get to an appointment, but yeah, just I don't know how much legs the Habs will have left tonight. Jake Allen will probably be in net, so it'll be nice that he'll be relatively refreshed, and Carey Price will likely get a well-deserved night off. But let's hope the Habs can, even if they don't have their legs as much, let's hope they can keep things going and maybe force this game at least to overtime again. We'll see. But yeah, this has been a Langer at the Mic post-game show here on or after the Habs dominant win over the Canucks 5-1. And as usual, give me a big thumbs up on this video if you enjoy my commentary. Like and subscribe to my channel. Give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Mike Langer. And this has been a Habs post-game show here on Langer at the Mic. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again tonight after the Flames game. Go Habs, go.